Hey, what's up everyone? I just wanted to put together a quick video to show off the 1100 FD laptop I recently obtained. If you've come across this computer, chances are there are a couple of things wrong with it. One is the floppy drive will not be working. That's because there is a belt in there that has hardened and actually broke. The other thing is that the battery in this laptop has long died, so it's not going to hold any charge. And another thing is the clock will show some random date. Keyboard, it's going to either stick or it's not going to register the keys. I am going to be discussing the solutions for each one of these issues that I've just mentioned. Okay, the way you take this thing apart is there's a bunch of screws in the bottom and a couple of them in the back. There's a couple of screws in here, this one over here. Yeah, so you take those out, and also now these corner pieces have to come out as well. And then there are screws underneath these corner pieces. Now when I'm taking out these screws, I make sure to organize them according to where I got them from, because a lot of them are different sizes. Alright, now the screen is loose. Here comes the tricky part. The top part of the plastic frame is loose. The only part I see that it's tied down to something is over here. And I've seen from a couple other videos that there are a couple of clips underneath here that need to be unclipped. Since the plastic is old and brittle, I don't really want to chance it by putting a screwdriver in it, so I'm going to try to figure out some way to take this thing out, trying to be as gentle as possible. So yeah, let's see. Good luck to me. Pry this corner piece a little bit, and with a screwdriver you work your way towards the edge to the center. As soon as you get towards this area, you just turn the screwdriver just a little bit and it clicks open, and then you do the same thing from the other side. Get your screwdriver in the corner, work your way towards this area of here, turn the screwdriver just a little bit, and then you'll hear the click on the other end, and then there you go. This thing has two tabs, one tab over here and the other tab over there, and yeah, this thing comes apart. Yeah, once you have this thing open, you can just lay down the screen in the back. You basically flip the keyboard over and remove a couple of screws for the metal shielding over here, and yeah, so then you could probably get access to the main board. At this point, the keyboard is flipped over. I'm trying to avoid not to disconnect to too many things, but unfortunately, to get the shielding off, I need to disconnect this connector over here and the white JST connector down there. So let me do that and try to see if I could get this shield to flip over so I can get access to the area underneath. Alright, I got the shield to flip over, and it's uncovered the main board. Hopefully I'll be able to get the floppy drive out without disconnecting anything, so I could just change the belt, and I think that'll be that. Alright, what I did was I lifted these tabs over here, part of the shielding. There's one over here, and then the third one's here. I moved the floppy a little bit back and lifted the front part up, so the button would clear the hole, so it would just lift up. I tried doing that and lifted the floppy drive out so I could flip it over, but unfortunately the ribbon connector was too stiff and it was giving me a little bit of problem. So I just pulled it out of its slot. It should be pretty easy to put it back, so I'm just gonna take out the floppy drive. It's a lot easier with the ribbon cable removed. And here you go. This is the flip side of the floppy. So you can see the belt has been torn apart. Actually this looks like a rubber band. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to be replacing that. I got something off of Amazon for, it's a set of 50 belts. It's a sorted set, so I'm going to be trying out a couple of them and see which one fits. And luckily this belt didn't leave any residue, so there's nothing to clean up. And but if your system has a belt, you know, residue over here, you just clean it with a Q-tip, some alcohol, that should do the trick. Alright, I got the new belt on there. There was some belt residue that was left over on the spindle over there. I did take that out with some alcohol and a Q-tip. I had to take off this encoder screw over here for the encoder or decoder, whatever it's called. And so I did slip on the belt, and so the belt is on there pretty good. I am going to start up the computer in this state, all open, so hopefully nothing shorts out. I'm going to test it out and see how it works. Alright guys, when I put everything back, something was actually shorted out. I think it was something with the shielding, so I completely removed the shielding, removing the keyboard ribbon cable, and I put a little bit of packaging to isolate, to hopefully it's not going to short out this time. Luckily I caught it in time. There was a transistor that really heated up over here. I think it's a MOSFET, I don't know what it is, but it was pretty hot and I smelled something pretty bad, some stuff that I shouldn't be smelling in electronics. So yeah, I started it up, and you know, it started up fine, so hopefully no permanent damage, but let's try it one more time. Alright guys, yeah, as you can see, it just booted up. So far so good. Nothing smoking. Nothing's getting hot. Should be taking 240 milliamps when it's in idle state. So when it was shorted out, it was taking, you know, 3 amps from my power supply, which is not good at all. So yeah, let me open up Deskmate. Take one of these floppy disks. Let's go to the text editor. Test. Let's try to save this thing. Uh-oh. There's a problem with the disk in drive A. Enter to retry, escape to cancel. Maybe the disk is not formatted. Let's see. Cancel. Let's exit out of here. F10. No. F9. How do you exit this thing? File. Exit. No. F4, disk, format drive A. Okay. Yeah, I think the disk was not formatted, so I'm formatting the disk right now. Well, the simple fact of this is actually formatting probably is a good indication that the disk is actually working. The disk drive is working. So let me finish the format and I'll come back. Alright, I'm back. Thing is formatted now. So let me go back. Text editor, type in something. Let's save it. Oh great, it works. Alright, so we're all set. I'm gonna put this thing back together again. I wanted to replace the battery on this thing, but it hasn't arrived in the mail. I could do it at a later point. At some point, these capacitors will also need to be replaced, but not at this moment. I don't see any of them leaking, and the rest of the board looks pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna put this thing back together again, and see you in a little bit. All right, I was looking at the real-time clock battery, and it seems that it's sort of like welded or something permanently to the PCB. I don't think I'll be able to get a battery similar size, or even if I do get a similar size battery, it's going to be a pain in the butt to actually have it installed, because I probably have to desolder the tabs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the whole battery and replace it with a JST connector. This way it'll give me a little bit more flexibility to install any type of battery basically, and I'll just connect it to the JST connector. So let me take out the main board, and I'm going to desolder the battery off the PCB and connect the JST connector to it. This is the back side of the board. The battery is right there. I'm gonna unsolder these 3 points, 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to be using a ZD915 desoldering gun to desolder this thing. If you deal with any type of electronics, it's a good investment to buy one of these things. Alright, I got the battery out. It's a Panasonic CR2477, 3 volts. I'm not sure why it's in this plastic wrapper. I'm not sure if there are 2 batteries in here or just a single one. I checked the voltage on this thing, and it's giving me less than a volt, so the battery is completely dead. And when I had the laptop on, I also checked the voltage, so it looks like the laptop is not charging this battery. So it looks like this battery is sort of like a one-time use battery. It's kind of weird that they sort of like had this battery permanently installed and not in a holder. Replacing this battery would mean that you would need to desolder this thing actually. So anyway, it's desoldered, and I'm going to be putting in a JST connector next. So I replaced the onboard clock battery with the JST connector, and so this way I'll be able to plug in any type of battery. All I have to do is just get a battery holder and just connect it to this thing over here, and then I'm all set. Just got to figure out a way so the battery doesn't dangle around too much in the bay. But I think the battery will be able to be replaced by just opening up the expansion slot where the modem typically goes. I don't have a modem, so this way I could just put the battery in this spot over here. Now the last thing I'm going to do to this thing is clean the keyboard. Although the keyboard is fully functional, sometimes I do feel that when I type something, it's not registering the key press. So I'm thinking the membrane or PCB is pretty dirty. So what I'm going to do is try to open it up, all these small little screws, and see if I could clean it with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on a Q-tip. So let's try to do that. Alright, I removed all the screws over here. There were numerous screws, and I'm just going to lift up the keyboard. Hopefully this thing doesn't fall apart on me. Alright, let me do this off camera. Alright, this is just what I expected. The keyboard is just a membrane based keyboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up the PCB or whatever this thing is called, the membrane. I'm going to clean it up with some alcohol, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Alright, this is just what I expected. The keyboard is just a membrane based keyboard. So I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up the PCB or whatever this thing is called, the membrane. I'm going to clean it up with some alcohol, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Well, it appears that I cannot separate the membrane to get in between, you know, where the connectors are. If you guys know how to clean one of these things, you know, leave a comment. I don't think I'll be able to separate this. I guess this is just one piece. Alright guys, I'm just going to put this back together again. When you're putting the screen back together, make sure to put enough of a release for this cable over here. Otherwise, when you open it, it's going to crack the back case open. Alright, so put enough relief. Well, that about does it for this video. If you would like to know more about retro computers, electronics, and games, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click the like button.